Hey good people, and welcome back to the channel. I know I spent the better part of this year talking about how much I hate this season of Married at First Sight, but I also vowed to finish what I started for my channel, so in a few moments, I'll be sharing my thoughts and feelings on episode 22 of Married at First Sight Nashville. And for this review, I'll just share how I felt about the episode and how I felt about the cast members for the episode. So without any further delay, let's jump right in. Now I know many of you are expecting me to tell you that you should treat this episode like a bill collector and avoid it. Well, you know what? I'm going to change things up for this review. I will not tell you to avoid this episode. However, I will strongly encourage you to watch this episode at your own risk. For those that haven't watched the episode yet, then allow me to save you some time. The bulk of this episode is comprised of a hodgepodge of scripted scenes which follow the cast members' adventures after Decision Day. So if you don't want to waste your time watching Eris hanging out with Clint and Mac, if you don't want to watch the women go flower picking, or if you don't want to watch the cast members going on fake dates, then you may want to do something more productive with your time. But let's talk about these cast members. First, there's Clint and Dom. Now, if you thought that this episode would reveal that these two are dating, then you're dead wrong. Clint and Dom meet up to discuss Clint wanting to get a dog, as well as their dating lives. We later learn that Dom has been talking to Gil from Married at First Sight Houston, but if history tells us anything, it's that every single cast member that has been shown dating a former cast member during these Where Are They Now episodes have never worked out for the long term. So I don't expect Dom and Gil to work out, even if they do manage to go out on a date. I suspect that Houston is about a day's drive from Nashville, and I don't see either of them being willing to do a long-distance relationship. More than likely, production put them up to dating just so that Dom would have a scene to film for this episode. Next, we have Jasmine, who talks about getting her a new apartment, getting a new job, and starting a new chapter in her life. Now, between you and me, I think that Jasmine was highly embarrassed that Eris didn't give her that attention, that admiration, and that good old pickle tickle that she's used to getting from men that she deals with. Now, before you jump down my throat, I've been on record saying that Eris was a trash husband and he had no business being on the show. But I think that Eris's antics somewhat led Jasmine to feel the need to show the world that she is confident again. Later on in the episode, we get a scene of Jasmine and her friend boy, who remains faceless. And when I saw the cameraman doing everything that he could to avoid showing Jasmine's friend's boy's face, it reminded me of the character Wilson from Home Improvement. I mean, the scene was silly to watch, and it made me think that this guy either already has a girlfriend, that he was somebody that they just got off the street to film, or that he was in witness protection. We then get a scene of Mac and Gina hanging out for a little bit. They go on a coffee making date, but I think this was another smoke and mirror scene, and here's why. Brother Mac said he accepted a job back in Michigan. Now, whether that's true or not is not for me to decide. But if it is true, then I highly doubt that Gina would be interested in doing a long-distance relationship with Mac, let alone uprooting her entire life and her salon to move to Michigan. I simply don't see it happening. And even as they hang out on their date, I really don't see any sparks flying between the two of them. However, I do feel that Gina would allow Mac to give her that good old beef injection. Now, Kirsten and Shaq didn't have much to do during this episode. Shaq's grandmother passed away, and he had to deal with that for most of the episode. Kirsten spent most of her time talking about her marriage with Shaq. But I will say that Kirsten's yams were yamming during the episode. I mean, the girl is blessed and highly favored. She's got a caboose on the loose. Her booty looked like two midgets stuffed in a potato sack, and I'm all for it. And lastly, there's Nicole and Chris. They spend the bulk of their scenes talking about a bunch of nothing and doing silly things like working out at the gym, playing baseball, and going furniture shopping. And in my opinion, it was almost as entertaining as watching paint dry. But don't get me wrong, I absolutely have no issue watching successful couples doing their thing on Married at First Sight. But I just wish that Nicole and Chris had some flavor, like Amani and Woody from the New Orleans season. Those two were one of the best couples to appear on the show, and they prove that couples can be positive and entertaining for reality TV. But this marks the end of my review. If you have any questions or comments related to the episode or the review, feel free to leave them below in the comment section, and I'll reply to everybody. Stay good, stay ready, and stay tuned, folks. Peace.